Greetings, it's Moaz again, ArchiCAD Training Facebook. We are going to talk about materials and how we can just work with materials and CineRender. Actually, in order to do that, we have to go to the surfaces. Actually, I got a shortcut for the surfaces here. Is Control Alt Shift S. You can see all my other shortcuts here, like if I need to get to the building materials. I just like have that rule of thumb: Control Alt Shift, Control Alt Shift, Control Alt Shift, and then the first name of the attribute that I need to go ahead and edit. So I'm gonna actually use the surfaces for the moment, so I can just like explain a bit about the materials that we have here in CineRender. First and foremost, we're gonna notice that we don't have Lightworks anymore. We just have the CineRender by Maxon, which is what we're gonna work all along this last video in this series. First, we have to note that we have materials that are already activated, which are the materials that comes with ArchiCAD. I mean, according to the area here where I'm doing the recording, you're not going to be able to see a lot of them. I mean, like, I'm going to try to scroll as much as possible to see those materials. Nothing fancy here. They are just the materials that we used to work with ArchiCAD earlier versions. Nothing new at all. The new thing is actually how CineRender by Maxon is will be able to work with those materials from now on. CineRender materials are like standard materials that are used by any computer graphic or CG software like 3D Studio Max, Maya, you name it, Cinema 4D, where it came from. So it's gonna be divided, any material in this world is gonna be divided into channels. Those channels, I mean, this layout of channels, the one that we are seeing here, the color, diffusion, luminance, specular, whatever, we can just like watch and see here. They are just like another way of like expressing or displaying materials. We can have some other advanced layout or advanced shape to the materials. It's not gonna called channels. I mean, like inside those channels, it's gonna be called like shaders. So we might notice the difference between a material and shader. We might notice those differences here when we get into those procedural materials like brick, checkerboard, cloud, whatever. It's just like a small samples of what we can find out there in the real world, you know. Let's just like keep it simple at this moment, and then we can go ahead and advance like step by step towards the end of this tutorial. First and foremost, we have to know that there are already made and like good bunch of materials that are just associated here with ArchiCAD. We can just go ahead and bunch those materials and call them using the new material here, this small box or this small option here, the new from catalog. In order to do that, we have to go to linked library, and then we're going to find here the ArchiCAD library 19, and then this is a full catalog for like predefined materials that are already made, and they are especially for a CineRender rendering engine, and they are and they are fully compatible with Maxon, Cinema 4D, and Materials. So I don't have like at the moment ready to go, or like on top of my head a way of importing materials from Cinema 4D. However, we can do the very opposite, so we can export everything that we have here in our scene to Cinema 4D to do some more like effects, and I don't believe we're gonna do that. However, I'm thinking about doing like such a tutorial for taken this rendering into like advanced level for exporting it into Cinema 4D, so we can just do the like advanced level of rendering for those scenes. And maybe we can take it even more advanced, so we can just render using like advanced render engine like Indigo or V-Ray rendering engine. I mean, it might be like a further project, but I mean, for the moment, I don't advise going that way, because uh, using this rendering engine professionally, it would not need you to go any further than that, than CineRender, because uh, the only difference between CineRender and the other advanced rendering engines is the speed. But this speed is just balanced between what you are doing here in the BIM software, because you can just do your render and you can go back while you are rendering and work with this with your schematics and diagrams, your other views. So actually you don't need to worry about that. But when you go to other like software like Cinema 4D or like 3D Max or Maya or whatever, you'll find there that the that software or that rendering engine is going to consume 100% of your CPU, and gonna like swallow all your memories you have there in your system. So you're not going to be able to do anything else when you are rendering and doing the renders. All in all, if you knew how to use CineRender, in a really professional way, and understand how, I mean, the ins and outs of that rendering engine, you will not need to go any further than CineRender in your working with ArchiCAD, wherever you are just trying to accomplish into your projects. So let's go and check. You can see here that this um, catalog is arranged by categories like ceramic, concrete, insulation, glass. We have like a cool glass here. However, I would say you can use this one here. There's no harm in that. But on the other way, I need to just like give you a simple understanding of how materials, or like the basics of materials, so we can just create our own materials and work on it. So um, let's go there and see how we can deal with that. So let's say here that we need to change this surface here from whatever material that it has here to, like, let's say that we need to put it as like travertine uh, stone, so it could be like covered by stone, so it gives like more subtle effect. In order to do that, we're gonna first have to prepare our own material. So let's go again and let's check the materials or surfaces again. So let's check if we have any materials that says stone. I'm sorry, I don't understand the language here. It's all in Sweden or in Swedish, so I don't know where it says stone here. So I have to go and create that by myself. So let's go and check new. Well, first we have the catalog, so let's check if we have in the catalog that travertine looking stone texture or stone material. Unfortunately, all of them here are just like sandstone or like marble, or I mean, bottom line, I don't have that. We might find that in the like wall finishes. So let's go and see if we are having something like that, like tiles that go into the wall. But fortunately, we are not finding that at the moment. Let's try to go and check the brick, even though I'm pretty sure that we don't have, but we can choose like this one here if we like, but I'm gonna give like the better way of doing it. So let's go and check the better way. By the way, you can just like here uh, we can take other materials or other surface catalogs, but I mean it will be treated as a surface. It's not going to be treated as a like a Cinema 4D material. Can we not do that anyway? Well, there is a way, but it's going to be using the attributes. So we can go and what I need to achieve here is like, are we able to go and exchange materials with other people, or get other uh, materials from people who just like created them in another project. So we can just go ahead here and we can just like exchange materials from here. So we can select a couple of materials that we need to export to people, and then append here, and then after we get them into this file, we can just save as. It's going to be having the ATT file extension, which means the ArchiCAD attributes. So we can just like take it from here and send it to other people to work with it. Let's get back to our material that we need to accomplish here, and we're gonna go ahead and choose new. We don't have it from the catalog, so all we need to do, we're gonna start with duplicate. The current material, I'm gonna just give it another name. So let's try to give it like stone, and then wall covering travertine. Okay. I'm gonna delete all the other things that are having here, and then let's OK that. We can base on other material. I think where it says here stone, I think this is stone. So let's start with something like just having this color here. Okay. We have to just do that again. So let's again create the name again. So stone travertine wall cover. Let's OK that again and work from there. First and foremost, I don't need what exists over here. This is not the type of stone that I need to accomplish, so I'm going to go into the color here, and let's just say none. That means I don't need those things here. Let's go to bump and clear this out as well. So I'm going to say none here. Well, I'm going to keep the bump. I'm not going to need the normal anymore. So normal's like something else that have, or we can just like work with it. We're gonna check and see. So we ended up with like clear white material that has just the color channel activated. Well, you figured out the color channel is just like a channel that gives that material a color. So let's go and change that color to whatever you like. Let's put this like in the middle. So let's say that this is the way I need the material to look like. So it's going to be just changed accordingly. Nothing fancy up to the moment. So I'm gonna just get back to not like 100% white. I'm gonna just like take that a little bit down, and we can take this back here and here. Okay, so 252 is gonna be a good value for that. So let's OK that and get back again to white. Is that what I'm looking for? The answer is no. I need texture. How to look for a texture, how to look for a photo, let's Google that. So let's go for Google, and here's Google. And let's start with like download travertine texture. Oh, it's advisable to use high res, and enter. We can go and check like free textures. We can see whether it has what we are looking for. I like this one here. However, let's check if we have any other or better. Let's go here for stone surfaces, stone blocks. Okay. I think this is like travertine, but we can choose something else. Anyway, I was in this website before, and I was able to get one of those like close to travertine stone look like. So I bring it out from here, and this I just save it into the library that we have here. So if you double click on it, we're gonna find it like look like this here. And however, I think it was very small. It's just like 98 kilobytes. uh, I don't remember what is the size was here. File info, it's very tiny. It's just like 580 pixel by 580. I don't think this is what we look like, so I just changed the search, and I was able to get this one here. This one here is like much larger. Personally, I prefer such large textures. We have like 3500 by 2409. So I think this one is going to be like good for us. However, like there's like small artifacts here. There's just like this arrow, like maybe somebody did like write on it. I don't care for the moment. It's just an example. However, for you guys, I would say like we have to look after like good place to download our textures and see the size. The larger the size is going to be, the better how it's going to look like. So let's go ahead and add a texture here on the color channel. So let's go for none and then choose image. Now in the image, I'm gonna go and let ArchiCAD knows that I'm looking into the embedded library or an ArchiCAD library. So let's go to from file dialog box here, and it will take me to library where I just stored I was storing this not this one here, the 3500, and I'm gonna go and choose open again. And here's the image that I'm having here. It's not a perfect image because you see you can see here that it's not like connected seamlessly. No, there are like some seams here. It tells that it's like it's not a perfect image to work with. But let's try and see for the moment. Now we can go ahead and choose that image again to the bump and put it in the bump channel. In the bump channel, we are going to put the same image again. What the bump channel is going to do is if you get back to the image and see that image again, we are going to see that this image on the on the real life, it's going to be like bumped up between those seams between the stone blocks. So in order to do this or in order to make this happen here in ArchiCAD or in CineRender, we have to add the same image. So let's go and call that image. So I need an image, so we can just like search again in the library because it's been added up. I think it was that one. Let me just verify the name again. So it started with white stone big, so here we go. So this one, I'm gonna just add it. However, we have an issue here. The issue is what we need to do, and why we added that image is that because we need ArchiCAD, or we need to let CineRender knows that we need this image, or we need CineRender to detect this image and see where are those seams, so it could just like make it looks like they are just like going backwards and bump up the other the surfaces towards the screen. So theoretically it should work. On the ground it would not work. Why? This is because the bump will detect only the white and black base channels in the photo, and this photo here is colorized. So in order to solve that, we have two ways. The first one is going to be like long. We're going to take that image to Photoshop and like take the color information from that photo and then leave it like black and white. Or the other way is like using the tiny Photoshop. I'm just kidding. The tiny Photoshop that comes with it's a tiny filtering actually capability that comes with CineRender. In order to do that, like taking images by itself, it's not gonna work. So we're gonna just like take the image away, and we can get here the layer. So if we get a layer, the layer is going to be like a stack. It just represented here very well in CineRender. It's either it's even better than in Cine 4D. So we're going to take this layer here, and into this layer we're gonna add like layers of filters and images and whatever we want, in order to make just like in order to make CineRender understand the black and white areas in this image. How we can do that? Let's go ahead and add a layer. I'm sorry. How we can do that? Let's go ahead and add a layer or a shader. The difference between the shader and the image is that the shader is infinite. It goes all the way around. Meanwhile, the image is bound to its size. I mean, like the image that we are having here is only 3500 by 2400 pixels. Meanwhile, the shader, when it comes to shader, the shader is infinite. It can go unwrap all your projects no matter how big it is. What we need here, if you can notice that we have like several shaders, what we're gonna need here is the colorizer. Okay, so if you go to colorizer, this one here is only going to just like colorize or decolorize the image that we are having here. This one here is the way how it's going to blend with the other layers above or below. It's just like another Photoshop. I mean, the way that Photoshop used to blend layers together. So this is the colorizer. Now I'm gonna blend that with an image. So I'm gonna need an image here. The image is, you guessed it, it's the same one that we already used before. So nothing will appear now. Yes, because we need to put that up here. So we can just like do the colorizer. So we put the image now. Now everyone here is represented separately. So we're gonna have like to take to ask this layer to blend in another way with the layer below. So we're gonna choose now color. Now let's go and do some modification to the colors. Now we have here like separate colors. All I need from those colors is the black and white. So I'm gonna like remove one of those knots here. I'm gonna put this one as black and the other one as white. We can put here like as the position as 100%. Okay, now basically let's get this back to 100%. Let's get this back to 0. Let's get this one here to 25. Let's put that one here to 75. So when we're done, we're gonna find now that we have here the image, or the original image has been just like taken the color information away from it, and we've just ended up with black and white. We have to make those black and white as much contrast as possible. So I'm gonna get back to the colorizer filter. I'm gonna get back to the gradient that we're having here. We can just, I mean, this 25 and 75 are actually where this color is going to be. I mean, like the white is going all the way up till here, the black is going to this way up till here. In order to see what we've done right now, we have to get back here. If this is like not yet, or like not yet exactly where we're looking for, so we can get back here and increase the black information. So it's gonna be the one that overwhelming this filter here. So we can see here like we are having like more black information to be filtered. We can like play back and forth between those until we can get to like a decision where this one should be. So we can just like play with them until we can get to a better preview, like how much information we can have here. So let me again go ahead and see if we can see what we can do. I think this is enough. So let's get back to bump. So we're gonna bump this out for like 300%. Okay, for the moment we can just increase that because we don't need that much actually. So let's try to apply that material and see how it's going to work. In order to do that, we have to have the paint material. Actually, the material painter or like surface painter. Actually, I just have a shortcut for that, which is Shift plus P. We can see that over here in palettes. It's here, surface painter, Shift and P, so we can just use it in order to apply on the materials. It's very easy. First we have to call the material. So our material's name stone, so it just like call that material. We can just filter that, is this material in the project, is it in the loaded catalogs? Well, actually it's in the project, so it will just like call that material right away, and it's going to be easy. In order to apply that material, we have to select the material first and then select that brush over here and then go ahead and start painting. Don't worry about what you are seeing right now because we're still working on the OpenGL rendering engine. If you just need to have more information about that, you would know that if we go to 3D window settings, you can see that we are now seeing all the materials according to their OpenGL settings. So this actually would not do anything to contend with what we are doing. We just have wait and see until we are ready. If the save frame bother us right at the moment, we can just go at any time and press F12 in order to just take it away, and then we can continue painting. So I'm gonna click here. If you don't want to stop, like click paint and then choose the material and then click paint again and again, you can just like click this one here and keep clicking on that small arrow until you can do that. So now I need this one here, I need this one here, and this one here, this one here, okay, this one here, okay, I think I just made a mistake, which is let's stop from this material here, and I need to just like take that material. So let me take the information of that material, okay, which is the stone, limestone, because I need to keep that that wall still looking the same on this edge and on this edge. So I'm gonna just repaint that one here. Okay, click, done, with the original material that it was having. And then let me just move to the other side and ask again for my stone material and paint it over here. Now I think we are having what we need. So let's get back to our camera look here. Okay, let me just activate again our save frame feature. So F12. So F12, and let's go and render. I'm gonna render using like Control-Alt-R, one of the select and manage scenes. Let's go for one of my external views. I'm gonna use the physical sky. I'm not gonna use HDRI. I'm not gonna use grass at the moment. So let's go and let me just double check the physical camera settings. So 130 is good. 400 maybe maybe a little bit, but I mean for the moment let's check and see. And then Let me get back to my light sources. So we have 100% here, 150% illuminating surfaces, which is good for the moment. So let's go ahead and start the render. All right, it didn't take us too much here. It's just like 1 minute. Let's go and put a 100% view to that thing here. I think we were needed like much larger. I don't know what happened um, with this texture here, but I think we are going to need like a much larger one or like much professional one, just because we don't need those lines to appear here. I mean those seams between the line. So I don't think we've just chosen the right texture over here. So it's just like a texture change. We can just go to a more professional website, so we can get the right texture to just work in. I'm not gonna save anything here. Let me just. I'm sorry. I'm just moving between the cameras. Okay, we can do the same. I mean, like to other materials. Like let's say glass. I did the glass here from. I mean, like from the button up. So let me just like Control Alt Delete. I'm sorry, Control Alt Shift and S, which is surface. I was not able to get that one here. So let me get back to Surface Painter. Okay, and let me just check the glass. So we have here the glass klart. I think that means in Swedish glass clear. So in this material, I mean in the glass, we don't need color. I mean, people who use color and specular, this is like old school when it was when rendering engines was so rudimentary. We did not use to go to that level. All we need is just transparency, because glass is transparent. When glass is transparent, we're gonna need like something called refraction. Refraction is actually the physical term where light change direction when hitting objects. So this is, I mean, in another rendering engine, it's gonna be called the IOR, the index of refraction. You don't have to memorize those numbers. So all you need to do is that go and Google it out, like the refraction index of glass. Well, you might end up with like having a lot of different materials, a lot of different like references. But I mean, we can just like take it from here. First thing first, we can just go and put like 151, which is exactly what I think we have here. 152. We can just change that into 151. I mean, doing grounding is gonna be 152, but I mean at the moment we're gonna use 151 and put that into materials, into that the glass material, so we can just like put the real or like as much as realistic values as much as we can. We don't have any images here. It's wrong to have images until at this point. I mean at least at this point. We can use images later on, as we might see and prepare in other tutorials for materials, because materials, like, it's huge subject to discuss. So after having the transparency being set here, and I need to just like remind you with something. Don't put something like 100% transparent. The 100% transparent thing in this life is the air. Other than that, nothing is like 100% transparent. There must be like some numbers. If you don't like the 95 by 0.75, you can go by 98, but the most important thing is like don't go for 100%. Refraction, we've talked about that. Other thing that we might need to speak, but not at this point, is the blurriness. If you need that glass to just like, it will allow the light, but it would not be able to just let us see through, we can increase the blurriness. However, please put in your mind that increasing the blurriness will increase your rendering time dramatically. So just put this in mind. This is very important thing to have and to know. Absorption color, this is something really important to understand, but we're not gonna use it because it's only it's only important when we are looking to the glass sideways. If you're looking to the glass, this is the glass, this is our eye, okay? If you are looking to the glass in this way, okay, like if we are in front of the glass, this absorption color would not do us any good. However, if our eye was here, okay, so this is our eye, and we are looking to the glass sideways, we're gonna have to pay some attention to that absorption color value, the one that we're gonna use here. We might discuss that as well in other tutorial if you're gonna go more deeply into the material and discuss about that. However, for the moment, it's just like a simple explanation about how things are going here into the making like just the famous materials like glass, like wood or stone. And then we can go to reflection. In the reflection, we can do a lot of good things here. The most important thing is that do not put any color as just as we speak earlier on the color here. But the other important thing is that we can use something called Fresnel shader. Fresnel shader is here. Please do not pronounce that Fresnel. It's a French word, so it's pronounced as Fresnel. So we can put Fresnel shader here. The Fresnel shader, if you look now at the glass, you will find that all the, let's say, all the circumference or this side of the glass is being giving like is reflecting light or reflecting the surrounding environment. Meanwhile, the central area is just like it's just transparent and we can see through it to the other end. It's just like making things looks more realistic. So go ahead and apply Fresnel shader. It's gonna be better. Up to this point, we are able to see through the glass, and this glass is going to be able to reflect anything that goes around. However, it's not going to look realistic unless we are go and activate this environment channel. In this environment channel, we're going to let the glass just like give an image, like very fainted image of things that are going around. It's much better to just like have an HDRI image attached to this channel at the moment, and this is exactly what I've done. So I've just attached that HDRI. Any HDRI would do. Just go ahead to open footage.net and download any attachment. It's just like to let the glass be much more realistic in a way that we can tell that it's been good rendered. Other than that, we don't need to do any other thing unless we go like for special effects, like if you want like try to do some caustics, underwater caustics, so we can do and use the bump and displacement layer channels as well. Okay, so let me just go ahead and okay that, and let's go and do another test render from the outside. Let me just take that surface painter away and let me redo the render again. Let me just like make sure that I'm standing here at the right camera, and then let me just do that render. So Control Alt R just to make sure that I'm using the right engine again. Okay, and let's wait and see. I need you guys to look at the image here on the glass and see how much the glass is realistic. We can see through, we can see this shading here for this small post. We can see this image here. Those are the trees that appear on the glass. So I think it's gonna be good for us to see. Let's just like make a little bit zoomed out. Okay, zoomed out image of that glass again and see how realistic it is. Okay, just make sure that we are looking into the safe area, which is between here and here. So just let's zoom as much as possible so we can make sure that we are looking to the right stuff. So let's go ahead again and Control Alt P, and let's wait and see. We can check and we can see here that how much this ones look realistic. Uh, Even there, here at this area. So I think that's pretty much it for the moment. So most of us has like have a basic idea on how things are working. I'm not asking for the moment to just go ahead and see my settings, just test them out, just start with them as a basic. I'm pretty sure that there will be like a lot of questions about that, a lot of like enlightenments, how things are going. Sometimes people were going to ask, okay, those are not the only materials that we are using here. There will be like a tons of materials that we need to know about. You're right. I know about that. They're like I told you, it's like a huge topic to be discussed in such a like small videos and such like very short videos. So please, guys, keep in touch, and you know where you can find me. I'll be in ArchiCAD Training on Facebook. I don't mind having any questions regarding this topic in order to just like go ahead and raise the level of rendering and just like break the ice between BIM people and the computer graphics technologies and terminologies, how it's work. For those tutorials up till the moment, just go and memorize what I was doing. Believe me, like in a month or like 3 months or so, you will be able to just like be more familiar with those terminologies, and from now then, or like from that point, you will be able to just like put your own touch onto that, um, onto those settings, and you can go from there. So thank you for watching. Wish you can have like the best out of those videos. Thank you, and see you in another videos.